All right, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us in person and online. I'd like to call the Tuesday, October 14th, 2025 Butler Township Board of Trustees meeting to order at 5:31. Would you please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? All right, thanks everyone. The next item on our agenda this evening is the approval of minutes for the regular meeting on September 30th, 2025. Do I have any comments or questions, Mr. Thein?
No comment.
Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
I second the motion.
Sorry. Trustee Thein?
Yes.
Trustee Pruszynski?
Yes, the motion passes 2-0. Next item on the agenda is public comments. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. You must come to the podium to speak and state your name and address for the record. And please remember, this is your time to ask questions. And if you have questions on any items while we're approving resolutions, please hold your questions until the end of the meeting. Anyone like to speak may approach the podium now. I thought you were getting...
I did too. They're playing around.
Thank you. Hello. 40 Dogleg Road, Dayton, Ohio 45414. And I have 2 comments, question, and a request. The first comment is, Erica, thank you for kind of guiding me, giving me some focus for now it's the 27th, open house meeting with the kids. So I appreciate that because I don't know when I'm have the community able to meet and greet some folks and get to know everybody. Second is, Mike, thank you for publicly recognizing at the forum the other night your opinion and your feelings about keeping proposed development under an R1. Because obviously you did a lot of homework on traffic issues that have caused nightmares to us. So appreciate you talking. My question is then, how do I go about finding out when and if we submit? Request is on number 5 tonight. When you guys talk about resolution A and B, I would really love to know more about how the TIF is going to work, and this will be a good example of how TIF works. If somebody can explain TIF and how that will relate to Yorkshire and where the money comes from, and how it's going to be spent, benefits from that, etc. When you guys do that.
Thank you, Jan. Ms. Vogel, would you like to just tell her the steps? And then everyone online, this would be a good teaching moment for everyone online to know how that process works.
Yes, so for the Yorkshire TIF that we're looking at tonight, there's already been a development agreement that's been approved with the school district. That development agreement is in line with the current TIF agreement that's in place for the rest of Yorkshire. So basically the schools gets 35%, and then the rest of it goes to the township. And then those funds are really used for any capital improvements involving the TIF district. But then also if there's any agreement with the developer for any kind of project or any incentives that are given for development, those would come out of that money too. So there is a development with the excuse me. There is a development agreement with the developer of the Yorkshire, those 44 lots for Yorkshire Reserve Section 3, and Part of that was monies that was derived from the first two sections of Yorkshire, which has already been really given to the developer for the infrastructure improvements. So anything roadway, utilities, anything like that. And then there's another part of it that will involve either a bond that the developer will pursue for some more of the improvements that are taking place, or another reimbursement, kind of like section 1 and 2. But right now it's supposed to be through a bond that they will obtain, but there is some discussion about it being a reimbursement. So, but yeah, so right now this is the final steps to approving that TIF agreement, or actually the new TIF that would go in place on that property.
Ask you about it, or?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, yeah, when you say it's a new agreement, so that's what you guys are not approving? Well,
Jan, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Is your mic on?
I don't know, I'm probably
Oh,
not
there we
talking
go.
into it.
Or just
She's
pull
tall.
it over. Yeah, just pull it
So-
over.
So, yeah, I'm just curious if it's changing the TIF because of the bond that they're asking for?
So the
or the new
existing,
agreement?
yeah, so the existing TIF that was in place is a 30-year TIF.
All right,
So we're already like 20 years in on that TIF from the first two sections.
all right,
So the new TIF basically pulls out, put the microphone, the new TIF basically pulls out that section 3 where there was no development yet, and it starts the TIF over because it is really, the development is just now starting on that piece of property. So it is to benefit the township for the long run,
so
like
that
for
you're
more,
proposing another 30-year?
correct, on just that section.
So that money will be spent just on that section?
Yes, yeah,
And
so
then-
the school's portion, and then the township will get a portion of that, and then the developer, based on the agreement, will obtain some of those funds as well to reimburse themselves for those improvements.
And that agreement is in negotiation with the developer?
There is already an agreement in place.
Okay,
But there is talks about, they may have to come back to revise something, so I just don't know the full details of that right now.
and then how would I find that out when all happens, these meetings?
It will come back to the board if
Okay.
anything changed with the agreement,
Okay.
yeah.
And then since the TIF, the original TIF with 1 and 2 are almost up, what, how is that going to be maintained? Out of what funds then? Out of TIF funds?
So the TIF actually, under new legislation, the TIF, we can actually renew it for another
I see.
15 years, I believe. So
Okay.
we can, as a township, approve a renewal on that, and then the
Alright.
funds would continue to come into, come to the township for future roadway and
Right.
infrastructure.
And this is probably in the weeds, and I need to read more about TIF. But when you say you can renew it, does that mean the township more or less borrows money in order to renew that? Or
No,
how
it's
that
just a
works?
resolution that they would pass.
But where does the money come from?
So the money from TIFs are coming from property taxes.
The incremental property taxes
Yeah.
are still, okay.
Mhm.
So incremental based now on when the TIF, the original TIF ends, and then the new, whatever the speculation, new income going forward, that incremental amount. Is that how that works? The incremental amount from,
For the new TIF,
well, either one. If you get a new TIF for 1 and 2, I guess that would be a renewed TIF. The new one, I understand where that comes from.
yeah, so it would just
But the
extend the
renewed-
current TIF.
Okay, all right.
So
all
it
right.
wouldn't really change as
Okay,
far as
that
like,
helps. Thank
yeah,
you.
yep.
And, yeah, the other question was about where would I find, if they would submit Arbor Homes, their revised proposal?
Okay, so they are planning on being on the November agenda, and Nate has given them, and I think until Friday, to provide any information to us as far as any changes to their plan. So this Friday, we should have something from them.
Okay, so
Yeah.
just check with Nate?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, thank
Mhm.
you.
Thank you, Ms. Holland.
Michael Heyer, 8240 Dogleg Road. Eric, I wanted to come back to you, and could you tell us a little bit more about the discussion about reimbursement? Thank you.
So are you asking if it's debt or oh, yeah,
Sorry, Mike.
Was just trying to get some clarification on what you said about reimbursement
Okay,
distribution.
so the difference would be whether or not the developers basically are using the funds from, like, they'll spend the funds up front for infrastructure, and then the township reimburses them from the TIF funds that are generated from the TIF. So that's how the process works for, like, how they recoup some of those funds.
Sure, sure. You mentioned there was some discussion, so it sounds like maybe it's a process that's still in works and we don't know all the verbiage yet.
Correct. It would either they would be getting a bond, and the TIF would pay basically the bond payments when that TIF money is generated, or they would just pay for it up front through their own mechanism, and then we would reimburse them once the improvements are done and once the money is generated. So it would just, it's just in limbo right now which way they're going to go as far as that goes.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, Mike. Anyone else like to speak? Good evening, Mr. Betts.
good evening.
Ken Betts, 3332 Turtle Creek, or Turtle Shell Drive, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
mhm.
And I want to do a follow-up question to Erica. Did I hear you say we should wait till after you vote before we ask questions about the resolutions? Or can I ask them now?
What I said was during our resolution process not to ask questions from the audience because it's not recorded. The mic doesn't pick anything up. So if you had questions, we would prefer that you ask during comments from public comment time.
So comment now.
Yes, that would be good. Yes.
I really want to do a follow-up to what's, obviously my backyard is Yorkshire 3. And thank goodness the dust is finally settling and they're actually spraying tonight, putting grass seed down. My question is really on the bond issue and the payment issue. And if I understood you correctly, you're saying that all the capital improvements that have been done in Yorkshire 3, the roads, the sewer, the water, and everything else, is the resolution now tonight that it creates the township's ability to issue a bond or help with a bond? And are we reimbursing then the developer? And then obviously the citizens, we end up paying, they don't, what do they call it? They don't call it a tax, they call it a service payment. So on our taxes, we will see a bottom line somewhere among all the stuff that says service payment, and we're actually repaying then the cost for the roads and everything. Question 2, while I'm on a roll, do we have any idea what that costs? What the developer has so far in Yorkshire 3 that he will be asking for either a bond, and do we have an idea of what impact that will have on the future 44 homes that are being developed?
We have all the information. I don't have it tonight, but I can get all the information for you. So your first question, go back to your first question. That wasn't one that I could answer right now.
I think that was the one on the overall cost
Oh.
for the development. And is now that you've passed this, he can apply, developer, for a bond to have reimbursement for what he spent so far.
Yeah, so the trustees have already approved a development agreement with the developer. This, what we're approving tonight, is actually the TIF, like establishing the TIF district, the new TIF district on that acreage, the 16 acres. So residents, as far as what residents feel from a tax, they're still paying the same amount of taxes as they would normally. There's no additional cost. So their property taxes are just going to the township in full. And then the township makes their payment to the school district. And then the remaining funds get to be used for future improvements, capital improvements, or any kind of development agreements or anything like that that are in place. So instead of the taxes going to all the other entities in the county, it comes directly to the township and stays in the township.
Stays in that fund.
Yes.
So then the current, it has to be Yorkshire 2, so that's going to expire in the next few years. And if you renew for the Yorkshire 3, then do my taxes in Yorkshire 2 continue on into for the next 50 years or 30 years or whatever you pick?
Yeah, your property taxes will continue. Like if the TIF is renewed, the taxes will just continue to come to the township. If it's not renewed, then it'll go to all the other entities.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And one comment, on the corner of Yorkshire and Turtle Shell, there's 2 new homes going up. They're listed at $474,000 each, which sure as heck helps our neighborhood out if that's what they can get for us. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you, Mr. Betts. Anyone else like to comment? All right, moving on to number 5 on our agenda, administrator recommendations. Ms. Vogel?
Okay, resolution number 25-46, a resolution adopting the economic development plan in support of tax increment financing incentive districts for Yorkshire 3. This resolution adopts the economic development plan supporting the creation of the Yorkshire 3 TIF district. The plan identifies inadequate public infrastructure and outlines strategies for land use, housing, and infrastructure improvements needed for this development. This is a statutory requirement as part of the TIF creation.
Any comments, Mr. Thein?
No comment.
All right, do I have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion for resolution number 2546, a resolution adopting the economic development plan in support of tax increment financing incentive districts for Yorkshire 3.
I second the motion.
Trustee Thein?
Yes.
Trustee Pruszynski?
Yes, motion passes 2-0.
Okay, resolution number 25-47, a resolution creating Yorkshire 3 tax increment financing district, declaring the improvements to the parcels within the TIF district to be a public purpose, declaring such improvements to be exempt from real property taxation, requiring the owners thereof to make service payments in lieu of taxes, designating the public infrastructure improvements to be made that will directly benefit or serve the parcels in the TIF district, and establishing a public improvement tax increment equivalent fund for deposit of service payments. Again, this is regarding the Yorkshire 3 44-lot single-family residential development currently under construction. And as the resolution stated, a separate fund will be set up to manage these payments per our agreements with the school district and the developer.
Any comments or questions, Mr. Thein?
None.
Do I have a motion?
Okay, here we go. That's a long one. Make motion for resolution number 2547, a resolution creating Yorkshire 3 tax increment finance district, declaring an improvements to the parcels within the TIF district to be a public purpose, declaring such improvements to be exempt from real property taxation, requiring the owners thereof to make service payments in lieu of taxes, designating the public infrastructure improvements to be made that will directly benefit or serve the parcels in the TIF district, and establishing a public improvement tax incremental equivalent fund for the deposit of service payments.
I second the motion.
Trustee Thein?
Yes,
Trustee Pruszynski?
Yes, motion passes 2-0.
that's the longest one I think I've ever read.
Resolution number 25-48, a resolution extending the moratorium on the cultivation, processing, and retail sale of adult use cannabis within Butler Township for an additional 180 days. This resolution extends Butler Township's current moratorium, and the extension will allow staff and legal counsel time to enact the proposed prohibition for the cultivation, processing, and dispensing of adult use cannabis.
Any comments or questions?
None.
Do I have a motion?
Yep, I make a motion for resolution number 2548, a resolution extending the moratorium on the cultivation, processing, and retail sale of adult use cannabis within Butler Township for an additional 180 days.
I second the motion.
Trustee Thein?
Yes.
Trustee Pruszynski?
Yes, motion passes 2-0.
And just so you know, the prohibition resolution will be on our next trustees' agenda.
Okay.
Okay, resolution number 25-49, a resolution authorizing the purchase of a Furno INX power loading cot and attachment rail for the new medic unit. Chief Alig is requesting this approval to purchase the cot for the new medic for a total cost of $52,910.24. This will be paid for through the fire fund.
Comments or questions?
None.
Me neither. Do I have a
Okay.
motion?
Yes, I'll make a motion for resolution number 2549, a resolution authorizing the purchase of a Furno INX power loading cot and attachment rail for the new medic unit.
I second the motion.
Trustee Thein,
Yes.
Trustee Pruszynski.
Yes, motion passes 2-0.
Next, I have a motion authorizing a grant funding agreement with the Montgomery County OVI Task Force for fiscal grant year beginning October 1st, 2025 through September 30th, 2026. This is an annual agreement that we approve for reimbursements for OVI enforcement up to $6,000.
All right, comments or questions?
Have none.
I do not either.
All right, I make a motion authorizing a grant funding agreement with the Montgomery County OVI Task Force for fiscal grant year beginning October 1, 2025 through September 30th, 2020. That should be 2026, shouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay. Yes.
I second the motion.
Oh, Trustee Thein,
Yes.
Trustee Pruszynski.
Yes, motion passes 2-0.
And then I have one more resolution that I wanted to add, and I think it might be in yours.
Was it?
Okay, this is resolution number 25-50, a resolution to amend appropriations as determined necessary for routine expenditures in 2025. The expenditure is the Yorkshire Reserve Residential Improvement District, Fund 2904, and the increase is for TIF payments to the Vandalia Butler School District. The appropriation amount is increased from $60,000 to $62,752.
And that's what's scheduled now, or?
Yes, this is this is for the, for the payments for this year.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
so we
the-
just got the TIF settlements from the county.
Okay,
So
I
once
see.
those come in, then we do the
figure out.
calculations,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
And all the other TIFs were in line, but this one received a little bit more than what we had planned, so
Good.
that's good,
Yeah.
good
For
news.
them.
Yep. Do
All
need-
right.
I need to read that probably.
Do I have a motion?
Yes, let's see, where am I reading here? Yes, make a motion for resolution number 2550, a resolution to amend the appropriations as determined necessary for routine expenditures in 2025.
I second the motion.
Trustee Thein,
Yes.
Trustee Pruszynski.
Yes, motion passes 2-0. All right, moving on to item 6 on our agenda, informal business. Chief Porter, do you have any updates for us? Great.
Are you getting rid of a couple vehicles or one vehicle?
Great. All right, Ms. Vogel?
I have nothing additional.
All right. Trustee Thein?
I don't have much to add other than we got lucky and got some good weather on our events. Nice. So.
Yeah, Party
Uh,
in Park had a great day, didn't it? Weather?
Weather
Mhm.
was great, yep.
Yep, okay. I'd like to make a motion to excuse Trustee Jackson and Fiscal Officer Brush from our meeting this evening.
Oh,
Do I have a second?
Oh, yeah, I'll make a motion to excuse Trustee Bryson Jackson and Fiscal for Greg Brush.
All right.
okay. Do I need to
Call
vote?
the
Yeah.
Trustee Thein,
Yes,
Trustee Pruszynski.
Yes, motion passed 2-0. Just wanted to thank Jan and Ms. Holland, Mike, Mr. Betts for coming and participating in the meeting this evening. Great questions about the TIF. Folks can watch the video and learn from our conversation this evening how that all works. Also, Jan, you brought up the candidate forum the other night about the comments for Dogleg that Mr. Thein had, and I believe that this board believes that, it's our duty to protect our residents, to be a voice for our residents, help guide our community and our township in all the right directions. And there were really, he had some really good comments. So glad that you guys attended the forum. It was really nice, and lots of great information there for the public. So I have no further comments other than, do I have a motion to approve the financial statements and authorize payment of township bills?
Yes, I make a motion to pay the bills.
I second the motion.
Trustee Thein?
Yes.
Trustee Pruszynski?
Yes. Motion passes 2-0, and we will adjourn the meeting at 5:57 p.m. Thank you, everyone, for attending and watching online.